have control of your body when you're in the air. There's a reason why you in the air, Skip. You're not on solid ground. You don't control anything from that point on.
No, this was a travesty.
Oh, my God.
This was a travesty. And listen, the home team was so lucky to survive this game because they were in so much trouble because they obviously did not have Steven Adams, and obviously they lost Dylan Brooks 3 minutes into the game, and obviously Jaren Jackson fouled out with 4 minutes left. Yeah, again. And obviously Desmond Bane was a disaster because he's got a back injury, and I can't even recognize him. He's looking like James Harden now. And Tyus Jones, my little unsung MVP, was a disaster last night. 1 of 7 and 0 for 5 from 3. And even Brandon Clark had a very quiet game because he had no offensive rebounds, only 3 total for the game and 10 points. And it came down to that little man, 6 feet 2 inches tall. And by the way,
he was sensational.
Yeah, he was sensational, and he also led them, believe it or not, in rebounds with DeAnthony Melton, who's only 6 feet 2. Each of them had 8 rebounds. So you want to talk about gutting it up and gritting it out?
Right.
I keep saying about this Memphis team, I've been saying it for 4 months on this show. There's something going on here. There is the weirdest, craziest backbone of resilience and basketball character in this team, because just when you think they're done, they never believe they're done, and they keep coming back. They should have lost this game last night, and over the last, what was it, if I can get my notes
5
here.
minutes?
Well, it's the 4:16. Over the last 4:16, Ja Morant scored 15 points in 4:16. And I would like to, for those who couldn't stay up late enough to watch this, I would like to demonstrate what this man did to save this game, scoring 15 points over barely 4 minutes of time. If we could see all 15, and remember, he struggled from the free throw line. He struggled in the first round against Minnesota. He struggled during the year.
Not last night.
Not last night. Look at these. They're the sweet up and under, which is his masterpiece shot. And then he's not been a very good three-point shooter. He's about 32% for his career. He's 34% improving this year at 34.4. And there he is with the free throws. And that one was a little shaky, but it dropped. And the next one was not shaky at all. And the free throws are the nails in the coffin. And he bounced that one in, and then he rattled that one home. And that was that. That gave him an insurmountable lead. And Steph Curry was not very good in the fourth quarter. Yet again, I keep telling you, I'm not sure about him in the clutch. Never have been.
Well, Skip, the reason why they won this game is because Steph and Klay were 16 of 44 from the field. Klay, Skip, it's one thing. Klay is probably never going to be the defensive guy that he once was.
He doesn't look the same.
You tear your Achilles and your ACL, Skip.
It's just hard.
It's hard to become. But his shooting, Skip, I mean, what was Klay? Klay was 2 of 12. I mean, Steph wasn't much better, so they were 5 for 23 from the three-point line. They were 16 of 44 from the field.
Well, Golden State as a team had their worst three-point percentage in the last 25 years in a playoff game.
And you think about it, Skip, this small team, they're out-rebounding the number 1 team in basketball. They had more assists. Now, they did turn it over a little bit more, but that's the problem. The problem also is they don't have anybody that can stay in front of Ja. And I don't know if, Steve, at some point in time, you're going to say, you know what, we got to push Ja to his left. I mean, to his right. Make him use the...
Or send 2 after him.
Skip,
they don't send 2.
How many times are they going to let Ja lay the ball up with his left hand? You sitting at home with Ernestine. You're like, he's going to go left and he's going to scoop layup with his left hand.
He's another right-handed player who just loves going left. He's way more comfortable left than right.
Force him to... Skip, I'm going to force you to your right. I'm going to make you use that right hand. I understand your right hand dominant.
He will get you off his right, but then he wants to come back. He wants to spin left.
He going to spin back. He feels more comfortable to that left-handed shot. Give him credit, Skip. He was sensational. It took all 44. It took all 8 rebounds. It took all 8 assists, however many he had, because they didn't, like you mentioned, Dylan Brooks went out. Bane back was bad. They didn't really get a hold. Zaire Williams came in and hit 2 big threes, Skip, in the fourth quarter.
He's 20 years old. Remember, Zaire Williams is 2 years removed from playing with Bronny at Sierra Canyon High School out here in Southern California. 2 years removed. One at Stanford, and there he is.
And, Skip, they were the Warriors were up by 3. Klay, Steph had clean looks. and they're airballing shots. I mean, these shots aren't even close. Skip, this look like a big Andre Drummond shooting it. Steph hits the backboard on one.
The backboard.
On the other side, Clay is airballing shots.
He airballed.
If you would have told me, say, you know what, late in the ball game, the Warriors are going to have a 3-point lead, and Steph and Clay are going to have clean, wide open looks, and even the three that Steph hit, it was an accident. Hell, he backed it in from. How many times you see somebody bank the ball in, Skip, from the top?
Since you brought it up, I would like to demonstrate that. For those who missed this, when have you ever seen Steph Curry miss a shot so badly it banks in from straight on?
From straight up.
Show this. That's the Clay minute.
Clay tried to bank that one in.
And this is the offensive rebound yet again. And he goes up and off the glass straight on. Listen, in his NBA career, I will bet you he's never done that before.
I bet you haven't.
Because you have to miss it by 2 feet long, and he just doesn't miss it.
Right.
He's the greatest shooter we've ever seen.
Right.
Are you kidding me?
Right.
And then Ja just let him go. If we can see the one other one, Steph made 1 3 in the fourth quarter.
Right.
And you want to talk about, has he ever been more wide open in his career than this one? I don't know what, they just had a mix-up.
Right.
And he's just standing over there, and I thought, uh-oh, because that put them up 3 again. And I thought, uh-oh, that's just big trouble. It feels like it's just going to be the Warriors' night. Okay, now could we also see, please, Steph Curry turned it over 3 times in the fourth quarter, and without all 3 of the turnovers, I'm not sure Ja gets them home. Because he gave them 3 opportunities where you just give them extra possessions. These are Steph's 3 turnovers. That was just a bad idea. That's like Westbrookian. And then he drives it in and just lost the handle. And I was like, really? That's Steph Curry. And then here he goes again, and it's just a little bit off, a little out of sync, a little out of rhythm. And those 3 were huge.
They were.
To get them extra possessions upon which they had to cash. And they would cash to get them into a position for Ja to win the game.
Well, Skip, if they're not going to shoot any better than what they shot in the fourth quarter, it's going to be very, very difficult for them. They were 3-11 from the three-point line. Now, you're 3-11 from the three-point line, and you don't have anybody now to really stay in front of Ja. So what are you going to do? Skip, you're going to have to get the ball out of his hands. You're going to have to make somebody else. You're going to have to make Desmond Bane. You're going to have to make Clark. You're going to have to, if Dylan Brooks, I hope Dylan Brooks doesn't get further suspension. I think the game was enough. Being out of the game is enough.
I can't imagine.
Because, sometimes, Skip, it's reaction where the guy broke his elbow, so let's tack on some more punishment. I hope that's not the case. But if you're not going to be able to do a better job on Ja, now he got 30-plus, mid-30s first game. Now he's at 47. It seems he's gaining more and more confidence. You guys are not making threes. Skip, you're not going to beat this team shooting the way they shot from the three. 7 to 38, 18%. You're not beating this team. And if you let a guy go get 47, you're definitely not beating this team when he basically outscores your 2 top guns. What did Clay have? So he outscored if you say Clay and Andrew Wiggins or Clay and Steph. I mean, Steph and Andrew Wiggins or Steph and Clay. He outscored both of them. Skip, that can't happen. Steph is going to have to play better than what he's playing. Klay Thompson is going to have to play much better than what he's playing. Andrew Wiggins is Andrew Wiggins. I mean, his basketball IQ, he makes some plays. I'm like, bro, what are you doing? What?
And yet, he did a lot of good things last night.
He did a lot of bad things, too, mainly like going 1 for 7 and turning the ball over 3 times. That's what he did do.
Okay. Yet, for me, both of these games came down to best player versus best player.
Right.
Steph versus Ja.
Right.
Not that they guard each other. Occasionally they do, but not that much.
They get switched on each other,
But in the end, Steph did not play big in either fourth quarter.
No, he didn't.
And in the end, Ja had 2 opportunities to win the game in game 1 and could not cash on either one.
Right.
It was a turnover thanks to Steph knocking the ball out of his hands before he could even get it up to shoot it. And then it was the swoop to the hoop, and Clay took him and pushed him too far deep. He was too deep into the basket, and he shot it completely over the rim. He didn't even touch iron with it. Okay, so that was game 1. It came down to that.
Yes.
This was game 2. Steph came up even smaller than he is. Ja came up much taller than 6'2". And now we go to Golden State, where I remind you, last year in the playoff game, I know there was no Clay, but these Memphis Grizzlies went up there in a play-in game and won in overtime.
Yes.
It was like 106 to 101. It was a score like last night. I got it here somewhere. But in the play-in game was, I'm sorry, it was 117 to 112 in overtime last year, and Ja had 35 in that game. I still like Memphis's chances of winning one of the two games in Golden State. I still love Memphis's chances of winning this in 7 games, but they need to go win one of these two games.
You got to split, because I agree. You got to win one of these to snatch back home court, because I don't believe you can beat them 3 straight if they win both of these ball games.
Yep.
The Warriors did what they wanted to do. Sure, they would love to have both games, Skip. Obviously, you go. But you say, hey, if we can steal one, and normally the first game is the one that the team steals. You go, hey, like you said, it was a quick turnaround for the Grizz. The Warriors came in there, played well enough to win. But they're going to need more from Steph. They're going to need more. Skip, Jordan Poole in this series thus far has been their best player. That cannot happen with a 2-time MVP on that team. No. Steph needs to be better.
I would agree. But I thought Ja needed to be better last night, and he was. And I think he's poised for takeoff.
Well, Skip, he was sensational in the first game. Yeah. He just missed that layup. I mean, he got going. Jaren Jackson helped aided him along with 33. But this 47, this guy's, I told you, that's why I liked him over your guy in New Orleans. I told you.